Hey YouTubers, welcome back. Okay, so I'm going to be talking in this video, I would say real quick or a couple minutes, but we know that that's probably a freaking lie, so we're not even going to say that. But I wanted to talk about my energy readings and what it means when I state karmic, lover of the soul, soulmate, and then also there's the twin flame relationship, okay, which is a completely, it's not, and this is what I will get into, but I need to say this first and foremost. I need to say thank you to all of you who have been sending me your prayers, your positive energy, your love, your light, because I'm going to tell you this right now. This, living on a freaking prayer, right? And just knowing the light shines in the dark, the light outshines the dark, you start to lose it, right? I've lost it plenty of times. But listen, and I told you, I'm always like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do shit anymore. This is not, no. So last night, and my website, listen, okay, it's coming. But there is a lot going into this because I'm going to have videos that you can actually download and purchase, okay, with exercises, like writing exercises and things that you can do in order to help yourself, right? But I'm here to help you. It's extensive, okay? It's not just like a couple things. So, patience, right? And I've been dealing with all of this residual karmic energies that are now lifting themselves out of my life because things need to be sorted now in order to continue to move forward. And that's one of the biggest things happening right now. And I'm coming back with the weekly energy reading after I post this video. But, all of you who have been sending your positive vibes and everything, we need to help each other, right? Not be against each other, help each other. And if we're not helping each other, then what in the world are we even doing here? It's not the battle of the fittest or who's the smartest, who's the strongest. No, it's not. It's about working together and helping each other, supporting each other. We're not here to use each other and abuse each other. And even though, this isn't something that, of course, cannot be changed overnight, but it's something that we need to be consciously aware of so that we can start going in the direction of help making changes, right? So I can't bow down, right? Can't bow down against the dark energy. Can't. Not, right? And I haven't. It was a little bit of light today, and I followed it and got more. So, thank you, and continue. When I just got the one use these. When we hit that victory flag, because I know it's coming, you'll know too, okay? And you guys know you always have my love and light, just always. And anybody who needs me, I got you. lovefromabove717@gmail.com. I don't know how to do all this freaking stuff like on screens and figure it out, okay? Baby steps. So I just want to talk about the soulmate thing. So when I say lover of the soul, that means that you met your direct counterpart that you both reflected energies from, mirrors. But you could be stuck in a karmic relationship where you've been in that karmic relationship for a while, or you met the lover of your soul and you ran away from each other because why? Because you both scared the crap out of each other. That's what happens because you're digging out the lower level feelings of any lower level feeling. Everybody's different in the way that they feel, right? Like I can feel the energies and I know what feelings feel like because I've felt pretty much all of them. But the thing is that it's a conscious awareness of the fact that those are the energies and those are the feelings that you're feeling that are holding you apart. And you go back to a past life karmic relationship where you both just go in this circle of fighting up against each other, seeking validation, using the other person as the reason why you live and breathe and function, right? and it's actually you in relation to you, and you're a reflection. So you met a direct counterpart, a lover of your soul, right? And that person, and you guys just, it was what it was. And it was high flying, vibing feelings, right? And then there wasn't really arguments or fighting or anything of that nature, name call, nothing like that. It just kind of like separated itself. And that was due to the fears building within both of you, reflections, right? So you could have went back to a karmic relationship. They could have went back to a karmic relationship, or you've just been going through karmic partners. But this person is always the person who is, you know, what you're feeling towards. And that's because you both were reflectors, mirrors. Justin Timberlake, the song Mirrors. Seriously, okay? So you both mirrored originally like what you both desired, which was what? Because you put a wish out there, you put an affirmation out there that you wanted a person like this, and you didn't recognize each other at first, and more or less, you both could be opposite of anything you ever dated before, right? That's also scary. Going outside of your norm. That's what this is all about. You understand? Like, you met this person in order to trigger all those lower level emotions, pull you out of living in the same residual energies that you have been because you haven't been happy. So when I'm doing the energy readings, that's what's coming through. So I need you to deeply understand that if you are in a marriage, that you've been in for over 20 years, and your kids could be grown, maybe you don't have kids, whatever, but you're not happy with this person because there's not that passion there. It was a relationship that got together off of a false belief that you were getting old, you needed to have kids, and you both met in that mind state. So then someone comes along on your path and shows you, mirrors all those deep desires that you're not sharing in that karmic relationship. But it scares the living crap out of you because now you have to actually make conscious decisions to move forward, right? And it could change your whole entire life, but it's for the better. Because if you're staying in a relationship, right, that's not happy to you, and you met someone that you both mirrored the same exact happiness that you've always desired, why run from it? Why? So that later on in your life, you can sit and regret it forever? Why? Both are fearful that the other doesn't feel the same. One could have opened up and the other one shoved them off because the other one's not ready to admit their true feelings. But understand, they can fight up against their feelings all they want to and stay in a paradigm of living in the way that they have been, and that's not up to you. You have to stay in alignment with yourself and understand that person that mirrored you is not the person that holds your validation. They cannot take anything from you. It's your belief that they can. It's your belief that they're the person that holds all of your happiness, when in fact, they mirrored your happiness. They showed you, hey, this is cool, this is fun, do this all the time, right? But it's the fears. How are we going to do this? One may be married, one might not be. I can't do this. Or one might be in a relationship and afraid to get out of that relationship because of what the family might say. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about love. It's about the highest frequency of all. What is it? Joy, happiness, love. If you are stuck, fearful of others' judgments and beliefs of how you feel love and share it with another, you will forever live in misery. Because you will be living for others, not for yourself. We need to change that. That's the problem. If someone asks you a question, do you answer them to please them, or do you answer them with your truth and come to a compromise? If I said to you, I want to go eat at an Italian restaurant tonight because I want pasta, and the person just kind of says, okay, but they don't really want pasta, And then you guys go out to dinner and they're freaking miserable the whole time and they're like, I don't want anything from here. I'm not even hungry. And then the other person's like, well, I'm not going to eat by myself. When the other person could have just said, I'm not really in the mood for pasta. The other person could say, well, what are you in the mood for? And they could say, well, I'm in the mood for seafood. Okay. Well, now we can come to a compromise and find a restaurant that has both. I'm using it as an analogy, but think about it on a deeper level. Seriously. How many times have you done something because you didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings, or you were, all it is fear, afraid to upset the other person? But why is it that you're afraid? Why? Because it's codependency. It's a codependent relationship. If both people are on a deeper level of understanding themselves, then that's where these relationships met on that high vibing feeling, and the fears of the codependency and getting hurt again. When you can't really get hurt by the other person, it's your hurt feelings, a lack of understanding yourself. And that's where these relationships have come together, the wave of them. There's a wave of them. That's why these energy readings connect with so many people. Your circumstance and situation is what it is, but it's the energies. And when I'm telling the story of what's coming through my energies, so many people relate to it. Why is that? Because it's the freaking energies. And what are we? Energy. So you met a reflection of you in another, and now you both need to understand, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? There's nothing to fear when it comes to love. Living on a freaking prayer, right? Listen, many a times has I read that test of faith that I wrote a year ago, and it's been tested. But it was my fears that were blocking the completion of what it is that needs to be completed. And when I tell you, there are tower moments in tarot where the divine will step in, but you are always protected. I know it. I live it. And it's because it's time for all of this to come to an end. For it, the truth shall, I always stutter on this, but it's like, the truth shall set you free, right? Freeing yourself is by living your truth and telling your truth. But if you're living in someone else's lie, based off of false beliefs of what everybody else thinks that you should be doing, you will forever live in misery. So if you met your direct counterpart, you know whether or not you did, then you need to just go within yourself and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What am I really afraid of? Judgment of others? Who cares? You'll be judged for the rest of your life, right? Others' perceptions? It's all perception. But once you live your truth and you're happy and you know no one else can take that away from you and you're just going with it, you're fine. Because you're starting to be able to see then other people's miseries have nothing to do with you. And they were just trying to hold your relationship apart anyway and trying to control you. You need to do this, you need to do that. Why do you need to do that? Why? Because they believe you should, but it doesn't feel good to you. So why aren't you going with what makes you feel good? It's insanity. I know it because I lived in the insanity, you know? But now I know on a conscious level, way above and beyond anything here, is that it takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. Of course not. But understand, you know what feels good to you and you know what feels bad. And why live or be in a relationship with someone who doesn't compromise with you, who you can't talk to about anything? You know, like, you should be able to go to that person and tell them anything. I mean, anything and everything without fear of being judged by them. That's what these relationships are about. You don't judge each other. You're reflections of each other. And trust and believe, all the dirt that they dug out of you is the same dirt that lives inside of them. It is your responsibility to clear out those karmic beliefs, those past life residual energies, right? Not all relationships are the same. Some people will remain in karmic relationships for the rest of their lives because they can't alter their belief. But this wave of direct counterparts and twins is a different type of relationship. Twins are direct reflections of each other, but on a very deep, 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 higher level because they are awakening to their spiritual, and everybody can, we are, I always say this, we are souls, spiritual beings inside of a shell having a human experience. We are not humans awakening to spirituality. What are you connected to? We're energy, right? We've been made to believe that we're not powerful by the ones that believe they're more powerful than us in order to keep control, right? Segregate. I told you. And it's not my law here, okay? It's the law of attraction, and it's just as much of a law as the law of gravity. It is. And we are here to help others and guide, help you to understand yourself on a deeper level. That's what I do. You know, I teach the law of attraction, fill in the holes and the gaps of understanding it, because people are like, oh, that shit doesn't work. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't work? Of course it works. It's your belief that it doesn't that's blocking you. So let's start there, you know? But twins have always been interested in, you know, metaphysically speaking here, you know, things outside of themselves, and have always felt like weird or felt different from their family. And, you know, empaths and twins, they can be they have addictive personalities where, you know, they can become, you know, addicted to things that keep them unconscious because they're afraid to be themselves. They just feel different. But then when you met that person, your direct counterpart, your twin, or you could have been in a false twin relationship where the other person was never going to wake up to the spiritual nature because they were just in your life to teach you a lesson, and then the twin comes in and they pull you out of it, or at least try to. And one twin is always more conscious than the other twin when they come together because it's an awakening process, right? So one twin could have already known that they are going through something tremendous in their life when it comes to shedding ego and awakening to consciousness. And they've been seeing the signs, and they're afraid to talk about it to others, right? But then you meet your direct counterpart, and they just know, your twin, they just know things, and it's shocking that you met somebody, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm not the only weirdo, right? And maybe you don't notice them at first, and then all of a sudden, synchronicities at play, there are no such things as coincidences, you start to wake up because you can't force against it anymore, and the divine will continue to come in and cause tower moments in Tarot, right? To shake up your life because it's being reconstructed so that you can do what it is that you came here to do. And if the other twin is refusing to wake up, it's not your responsibility to worry or place your energies there. It's this, faith and trust. Because, as I stated, you met your direct counterpart. This is, you know, the lover of the soul. And you both are being pulled onto a spiritual awakening path of what true unconditional love of self is. Excuse me. You might not be interested in going down a spiritual-based practice, like doing anything on a spiritual level in order to help others. But you're interested in the spiritual side because you were mirrored the passion inside of you, which is your soul, your spirit, of that passion of unconditional love. And where does unconditional love come from? Inside of you. And you met your direct counterparts pull you out of karmic marriages, karmic relationships. And all relationships can be karmic in a sense because you learn lessons from each other. But when you meet your direct person who was a mirror of all the passion that you always truly desired, well, of course you run from it because you have pain and love associated. Pain and love are not two of the same. I've been preaching it for years and couldn't figure it the freak out, but I was going through the awakening process in order to understand it on a conscious level, on a deeper level. The unconditional love of self lies in no one but you. It's your belief that another person is the person who has to tell you they love you or show you love. Like, you're not earning it. There's no such thing. You can't earn love from another person. What you give out, you get back. And you met the person and you both desire the same thing and you were on the same frequency and the divine said, fine, here you go. You've been asking, when am I going to meet my soulmate? Why would you ever want to meet them? Do you understand what's going to happen to you as soon as you meet them? All the dirt, all of it. And now you got to purge it. You can't purge it all at once. Of course not. That's why it's called an awakening. And let me tell you something right now. I needed to see something for myself. I'm sorry, I'm waiting for an important phone call. So if I do have to pause it, that's the reason why. Okay, sorry. But, when I talk about purging feelings, there was a circumstance in a situation that arose with my past karmic partner. And this was like months and months and months later down the line. And they are just unconscious of anything. And I just tried to extend a thank you for, the experience, the time, like whatever. Like you really helped me with a lot of lessons in my life. And they literally were so ignorant to me. And then basically were seeking compensation in a monetary way since they taught me lessons. Perceptionally, I walked away from them. And I sat down in a chair and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, this person is just not a good person. And they didn't learn anything, so screw it. I extended my thank you and I did my, karmic duty by, expressing that. And perceptionally, it was as if I started this, it wasn't even an argument because I didn't even argue with the person. I literally was just like, okay. And I walked out of the room because I told you I can't do egotistical bullshit anymore, right? And perceptionally, somebody made a comment, one of my friends, it was like me and him in the room, and he was like, why do you even go there? Like, why would you even? And I said, excuse me. I said, maybe you should change your perception. I said, I didn't start anything with that person. They started saying stuff to me. I interrupted my conversation with someone else and was like, what? And then I just tried to say, I was talking to him and tried to say, thank you or whatever. And this person just, condescending, egotistical, oh, well, maybe, you should, since I taught you all these lessons. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you, And I just, walked out of the room. And I said, listen, you need to change your perception. I said, you already know what I've been going through. I said, and now you're upsetting me even further. And I literally got sick. I was throwing up because the energy was so thick of negativity. I was literally sick. And I said, this is exactly why you cannot purge feelings like that all at once, because it does make you physically ill, and that is what happened to me. But the next day, I was I felt so much better, and was starving. But, the awakening process is meant to purge those feelings, to get rid of them if you're in a twin flame relationship. Because you're shedding your ego so you can see clearly what's wrong here. And you both have interests in something in order to help people and help change the way that this world has been created by ego. That's what a twin flame relationship is all about. You're both awakening to come together to help change the world in your way that you know intuitively inside of you is your calling. But if the other person who you met, your twin, is forcing up against it because they're afraid, you cannot get involved with what their higher self and guides are doing in order to wake them up, okay? You have to just keep going. You have to, okay? And I'm telling you right now, I wrote a letter, not wrote a letter, but I write all the time. And I said, it's my way of getting things out of me, but it also gets out my pent up frustrations. And I wrote a letter to my higher self, my guides. I was like, listen, I don't understand how you expect me to continue on this path of teaching people and helping people. And I said, and clearly I said, it has been, growing, and it has been a success with the way that, you know, I created my program in order to help people, like, you know. And I said, and clearly it has been successful. I said, but, you know, how am I supposed to continue to have my faith when my whole entire life has been built on the fact that all my wishes and what I ever desired, where is it? I said, I love what I've been pulled to do. I wouldn't change it. I can't change it. It's what I was meant to do, you know, whatever freaking contract I signed, you know. But I said, I can't teach people and do these readings with these relationships and everything if it's not real, if it's not true. I said, because now, you know, and I said, and praying and asking for a solution for so long. I said, and I know that circumstances and situations that I went through and experienced, even if I made a choice off the egotistical mind at that time, you know, I went through the lesson and understood on a deeper level because I told you I can find inspiration in everything, no matter how horrible the experience is at the time. I find inspiration and understanding in all of it because there's a lesson. I don't ignore the fact that there's a lesson. I don't go outside of, you know, going and blaming others or doing anything of that nature. I understand on a deeper level what it is because there's something underlying in the situation that I'm seeing that I need to see on a deeper level and not look at it as some sort of like tragedy or something to hurt me, right? So when you met, you know, a situation and you're seeking clarity and you're seeking guidance and you want it to be over and you understand that even though there's a lot of things coming to the forefront very quickly, it's because your life is being reconstructed in the way that it needs to in order to continue to move forward. And I know that on a deeper level now because I already have, you know, the guidance that I've been given and needed in order to move forward. And I never questioned. I mean, I did and I didn't, you know, can't lie. I've questioned it, of course. I'm like, okay. But then once it started like flowing, it was like, oh, question what? You can't. And, you know, you just, this up here, tested all the time. Are you going to lose it? Are you going to lose it and fall to lower level energies and remain miserable? Or are you going to follow what your heart truly desires and trust and have faith in the unfolding? I continue to have my trust and faith in the unfolding because at the end of it is where the victory lies. And, you know, I continued writing and I just said, if this is real, because you're not crazy in the way that you feel. I know that I don't. You feel half crazy. I mean, how can you deny feeling freaking nuts? You're like, this person doesn't want anything to do with me. They've been shoving me off. You know, they make me feel bad about myself. Like, you know, because they just deny. And I said, how can I continue to, you know, teach in this if that's how I've always been treated? You know, it's not good enough. You're not worth it. Any excuse you can think of to just shut me off, you know? And little voice inside me, you know, just the energies, whatever, is like, just trust, faith. That's it. Trust and have faith. So I just wanted to explain the relationships and also, you know, just add in my little pieces of whatever. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for the prayers, the love, the light. Keep it coming. You always got it from me. You know that. And I will be back with the weekly energy read and the rest of July's monthlies. I've just been, you know, dealing with some karmic BS that got to be completed like ASAP because they say so. All right, so love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.